Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. This is one that I knew was coming out. I heard about it a while back, and I figured I could probably babble about this one pretty good. I've been listening to this band since their first album came out way back in whatever year that was. I can't even remember, but it's the Black Crowes, and their new album is called Happiness Bastards. Actually just got their, did a review of Southern Harmony and, the big, release they had there. And that's when I kind of shortly after that I heard this was coming out. And, so they got me back on the Black Crowes bandwagon there. I actually always followed everything they've done since, they broke up and they got back together here a couple of years ago. But, the Chris Robinson Brotherhood, and I listened to some of Rich Robinson stuff, and then Mark Ford's got solo albums out there, so, you hear something here and there. Although my opinion is none of that stuff ever really lived up to as anything as good as the Black Crowes ever did. I think these two guys, even though they fight like brothers, because, that's what they are. I know I've got two sons, let me tell you. I know all about fighting like brothers. They got back together and they make some great music together, and I think they do it better together than they do on their own. So anyway, I'm going to just go through this one pretty quickly. I was actually listening to this one all night, popped it in, and so I try to find albums I can fall asleep to, and this is like, well, all right, I'll give this a listen. I'll probably listen to it again today, but it was so good, I didn't even fall asleep. I actually listened to it about 3 times through. Really like this one. I like this one. It kicks in, with what you'd expect from the Black Crowes. Just the first couple songs here, Bedside Manners and Rats and Clowns, just both kick in with that cool, bluesy southern rock stuff you'd expect from the Black Crowes. Chris is sounding great. The band is sounding tight and loose all at the same time. I like the way they feel. They got, they don't fix every little tiny little thing that's, a little off. I love the way the big guitars just ring out, and they're not saying anything's like wrong or mistakes or whatever, but it just has a sound to it that's just this big open. You can tell they're just on the verge of like losing it, but it's still all there real tight together. Now track number 3, Cross Your Fingers, it took a little bit of a cool little turn there. It's got this cool little little funky little thing going on there, a cool little riff that it followed that is nothing like I've really heard too much from these guys. I like it when these guys catch that funk groove, but it's usually on their mid-tempo and their faster songs. They anytime they catch that little funkiness and the groove in their songs, it's going to be a good song. These guys have always tried to experiment here and there with different little things and tried different little, just little one-off songs here and there on their albums. I think back to like Amorica and stuff like that. There's a couple songs on there that weren't really traditionally, what you consider southern rock or bluesy or anything. It's kind of just weird, but nothing like that on this album at all. This is just pretty much just straight ahead rock with a couple little different flavors here and there. Nothing too crazy or off the track. That one right there, Cross Your Fingers, just I just really thought that was kind of cool. Really kind of fun little groove that one had going on. However, they get back into like, they're like stuff like the Bleed It Dry has got this big bluesy, like, it's almost like a shuffle feel. It's got this overdriven slide guitar going on it, some honky-tonk piano stuff in the background. They've got the background singers in there, the female background singing going on, and stuff like that. But there's the one track here I want to mention. It's called Wilted Rose. It's got Lainey Wilson, who I'm not sure who that is. I probably should have looked that up ahead of time, but really good job on there. It's kind of an acoustic-y type thing, but it's just a really cool, fun, just kind of it just felt good. It's a feel-good song, even though it's a slower song. You could actually really enjoyed that one, so just wanted to make a mention of that one. And then I think my favorite track on here was called Dirty Cold Sun. It kind of gave me like I was listening to it, it had that funky thing going on to it, and it gave me a feeling of like, like think of those like 70s like crime movies, where the cop chasing, the bad guy type movies, then it's got that really dirty type, funky type feel to it. I can't think of any particular movie, or even like old Starsky and Hutch like type, the TV show, if anybody knows what I'm talking about there, and the music playing in the background. It had that type of feel to it, which like was kind of cool, like that feeling it kind of takes you back to your childhood, and even though it's a brand new song, it kind of gives you like the nostalgic feel. So I thought that was pretty cool. And from this point out, it's pretty much just, by the books, rhythm and blues. That's the last thing I heard that really, did anything new. And this kind of ends on a slower song, which, whatever. I hear a lot of bands doing that anymore. So this end on a slower song. The album's really short. It's only like 38 minutes long. A lot of bands doing that nowadays, which, I used to be, I think I mentioned this before, I used to be a fan of like big long albums because the more music, the better. I don't know if that's always the case, because a lot of these times there's songs on there that are just like stuff you don't really care about. If you get rid of cut the fat off and just stick to the meat, I think that's what a lot of these bands are doing nowadays. I think that's what they did on this one. There's not a bad song on here. It's one I could put on, listen to the whole thing through, and I'm sure this one's actually going to grow on me because I listened to it 3 times through and I liked it better every time I listened to it. So I'm sure this is still going to be a grower. Really like this one. It's like back to the first couple albums that they had out. And I know they've done some weird stuff here. Of course, this is their first album they've done like 15 years too. But back when they were making albums regularly, they used to go off and do some weird stuff. This is like coming back to like what I think was more like their first 2 albums. So my quick opinion on that one, and as always, it's just an opinion, nothing to get mad about. Some people get mad about opinions, which is really weird. It's like, don't get mad. It's opinions. We're all allowed to have them. So chillax, subscribe, and keep the music alive, like I always say, because this band, I really just hope sticks around, makes a few more albums. So I would really like to keep seeing these guys just doing this. So really enjoyed it. And until next time, we'll see you.